Hey, have you ever told a story and after you told a story, it just felt as if it landed flat, like it didn't connect, and worst of all, no one responded? Chances are you skipped this one step. And even worse, you probably told the wrong story. You see, there are 3 questions that you need to answer so that you know what story to tell based on the right scenario. In this video, I'm gonna share the 3 questions that you need to answer that's gonna help you to choose the right story every time and help you to be so much more compelling. My name's Andy Henriquez. I'm a business storytelling coach. I'm the founder of the Master Storyteller Academy and the $1 Million Storyteller Mastermind. And over the past decade, I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs, speakers, coaches, executives, showing them how to leverage the power of story to both connect and convert. And I'm about to break down for you the 3 questions that you need to answer so that you can be a more powerful, compelling storyteller. Question number 1, before you even consider what story you're gonna share, here's the question you gotta answer is, what do I want them to know? What do I want them to know? As a matter of fact, there's something real silly that I like to do. What do I want them to know? I start tapping on my head. Now, I was sitting down with the legendary, great Les Brown. Les Brown's one of the top 5 speakers on the planet, my mentor over many years, and here's something that he shared with me. And I wrote this down. It changed my life. He said, young man, never tell a story without making a point, and never make a point without telling a story. Man, that just blew my mind. I'm gonna repeat it again. He said, young man, never tell a story without making a point, and never make a point without telling a story. So that means when you and I are getting ready to share and tell a story, one of the first things you have to be considering and taking into consideration is, what is the point that you're looking to make? In other words, what do you want people to know when you get ready to share and tell the story? Now, I don't know. Have you ever had a conversation with a friend, with a family member, and they were dead smack in the middle of telling you a long, convoluted story, and then in the middle of drawing everything out, they said, I completely forgot why I was telling you that story? There's nothing more painful. You're thinking like, wait a second, did I just listen to you for the past 10, 15 minutes on this story that totally wasn't making any sense in the first place, and you don't even know the point of the reason why you're sharing and telling the story? Well, guess what? That's what happened. They went into sharing and telling a story without first considering these 3 questions, and they certainly didn't consider the first question is, what do I want them to know? So the next time you're getting ready to share and tell your story, the first thing I want you to consider for a moment is, what is the point that you're looking to make? In other words, what do you want people to know as a result of you sharing and telling the story? You answering this first question, it's gonna create the guardrails, and it's actually gonna help you to go ahead and form the landscape of your entire story, because now you're gonna build the entire story just to land the point, which also means if there's anything in the story that doesn't support the point that you're looking to make, you're gonna take it out of the story. And if there's anything that you know that is really important for the thing that you want people to know, you're gonna make sure you keep it into the story. You get it? That's why it's so critical. So the first question you gotta be able to answer for yourself is, first and foremost, what do I want them to know? What do I want them to know? Now, question number 2, now this is super critical. Question number 2 is, what do I want them to feel? Yeah, I'm gonna do it again. What do I want them to feel? Now, why is this so important? Because when you are sharing and telling stories, you're hopefully not just telling stories for the sake of telling stories, but hopefully there's something that you eventually would love people to do, or something you'd love for them to feel. And as a matter of fact, there's so much research that supports this. There's a Harvard professor by the name of Gerald Zaltman, and here's what they discovered. That most people, when it comes to their decision-making process, they're making their decisions at a subconscious level, which simply means that they're not even thinking about it. And over 90% of the decisions that you and I make, they're based upon how we feel. So what does that mean for me and you? What it means is, if we're gonna share a story and we want people to take action as a result of us sharing and telling the story, we need to be able to transfer a feeling. We got to be able to transfer an emotion to the people that we're sharing and telling the story to. And here's what I've come to realize. You cannot transfer a feeling and emotion that you haven't first experienced for yourself. And so here's the crazy thing. When you're getting ready to share and tell the story, it's important that you understand what is the feeling that I want to transfer from myself to the people that I'm speaking to, whether you're speaking one-to-one or you're speaking one-to-many. And so I want you to be thinking about that every single time you're getting ready to share and tell a story. Question number one, what do I want them to know? What do I want them to know? I'm telling this story. Question number two, what do I want them to feel? Why is that important? Because the transfer of feeling, the transfer of emotion is what's going to drive them to take some type of action. And it's also what sets up question number three. And question number three, I love to do this. I call it bringing the hammer down. What do I want them to do? I'm going to bring the hammer down. What do I want them to do? We're bringing the hammer down. So here's the thing I want you to think about. Why would you take the time to share and tell a story to someone if you didn't intend for something to happen, something to change as a result of you sharing and telling the story? So one of the things you want to think about in advance is, what do you want people to do as a result of you sharing and telling this story? Like, do you want them to purchase your products? Do you want them to purchase your services? Do you want them to change their life? Do you want them to be a better husband, a better wife? I don't know. Fill in the blank with whatever it is that you support people with. Now, the next time you're getting ready to share and tell a story, whether you are sharing and telling that story one-on-one or one-to-many, there are three questions that you need to consider. First and foremost, what do I want them to know? What do I want them to know? The great legendary Les Brown said, never tell a story without making a point. Never make a point without telling a story. It is so critical and so important that you understand what exactly you want people to know as a result of you sharing and telling a story, because that is going to allow you to be able to steer and direct the story. Question number two, what do I want them to feel? Feeling is so important, and you cannot transfer a feeling that you don't experience for yourself. And when you want to have great influence, you got to be able to transfer the feeling. 90% of people's decision making is steered off of their emotion, and you want to get great at being able to transfer feeling and emotion to your audience, whether it's one-on-one or one-to-many. And finally, the third question is, what do I want them to do? What do I want them to do? We are talking about not just telling stories for the sake of telling stories, but we're talking about telling stories that move people to action, whatever that action is. And so the next time you're getting ready to share and tell a story, I want you to make sure that you consider and answer all three of these questions, and that is going to help you to go from being an ordinary storyteller to becoming a master storyteller. Look, if you got some value from this video, here's what I'd love for you to do. First and foremost, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, because I am constantly putting out videos that's going to give you tips and strategies on how you can become a master storyteller and way more effective in your communication skills. And also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out the video just above where I break down for you story structure so that you understand, once you know the story that you're going to share, exactly how to structure that story. Check the video out, and I'll see you in the next video.